All right, John, tell me, can you hear me? I've never done this before, so I have no idea if everything's working. All right, Spencer can hear me. My very first time live. Let's get this a little closer. All right, a couple more people can hear me. Sounds like we're good to go. I don't want to take up everybody's time all evening, I guess, on the East Coast, so I'll start getting this started. We are on Waikiki Beach, Honolulu, Hawaii. Been here a week now, just over a week, and a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions about it. First off, this trip was not on my bucket list. It's not in my top 10 of places to go. It's um, it's just a place where it's on everybody's list, even if it's not on your list. And I know my wife really, really wanted to come here, so here we are, staying at the Hilton Waikiki Village Resort, and I'll get into some of these questions. I will get into some of these questions from the chat, but first I want to get into these questions that people kind of pre-ordered. Isaac asked, okay, Daniel Turner wants to know about the devaluation of United. Have I looked into it, and does that make the Aeroplan a little more valuable? Me personally, I don't value airline status. I don't earn individual airline miles or points, so I don't care a whole lot about United's program. Actually, their it seems like their domestic economy points are still the same. So for me, that means flying to Washington Dulles to take an Air France flight. So for me, it's the same. I don't really worry about it. Oh wow, Chad, jeez, thanks, man, appreciate it. I will have that fruity drink. So, Daniel, I don't think I would be interested in getting United cards unless you fly United a lot and you need that extra bag. For me, it's just not worth it because I don't know if I've ever flown United. I do have a couple flights coming up in October that are on United, and maybe I'll have a different opinion there. Stan the Credit Frog wants to know if I swam or I plan to swim with any turtles or dolphins while I'm here. Funny thing, we did go snorkel with the turtles, but I didn't see any turtles. It was like a little tour where they take you out to sea and they kind of drop you off with snorkel gear where the turtles are supposed to be. However, my wife and my son are at Turtle Beach right now looking at the turtles. They gave me the day off. They gave me an opportunity to kind of lay around the resort by myself and do this live feed. So, no, I didn't see any turtles, but I have done a lot of swimming. Jesse H says, with the constant devaluations, it seems like we're getting the short end of the stick. What are my thoughts on the future of transferable currencies with all this in mind? Jesse, devaluations are part of the game. So when you can make good on a huge transfer bonus or a huge new card bonus, do it. Eventually, those points are going to be worth less. And that's why I always preach and I always have an earn and burn strategy. PG, did you or are you planning on hopping islands while in Hawaii? I'm not going to. And the reason is this was supposed to be a really relaxing, quiet vacation. So lugging around bags and island hopping with a 6-year-old didn't quite fit into that. And plus, I think when you start doing that, you not only do you lose time, but it does cost a lot more money. I'm a value vacationer, so I'm going to go ahead and spend my time on Waikiki Beach and the pools. And we did go to the North Shore yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I don't remember, but we've been here for a while. Anthony Venture, who do you think the toughest of all credit card YouTubers? That's tough, man. I'm probably going to go with Sledge. He's got that cool head wrap and some dreadlocks. I don't think anybody's going to bother Sledge. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Keith Schmidt, thank you, sir. Is the ANA round the world in first class for 300,000 miles on my traveling bucket list? You know, I'd like to tell you it is, but with a wife and almost 7-year-old, I don't think I'm going to be flying around the world and stopping in 8 cities anytime soon. I'll still have it on my list. and I'll put it on that 1 day category. Wes McFall wants to know how we got here. Points, cash, class of service. Well, Wes, if you follow the channel, you know that I am not super comfortable flying my youngster in first class or business class. I have my own reasons for that, but he gets to travel quite a bit. But as for now, he still stays in economy class. So we flew American Airlines, Columbus to Phoenix to Honolulu in economy. And we're flying back Honolulu, Dallas to Columbus in American Airlines economy. Now, how I paid for that, I paid for it with MR points using a business gold card. So I got the 25% bonus. The reason why I did that was at the time, and this was probably 10 months ago, I booked this. At the time, flights, one-way flights to Honolulu were in the $300 range. So obviously I don't want to use my money, but using the points, it was really easy to use the MR points and get that 25% rebate back. And it kind of felt like I got here for free. Obviously those points are worth quite a bit, but that's how I booked this. I booked the hotel with 560,000 Hilton Honors points. Now that we've gotten to the hotel, I do have a story for you guys. And I want to talk about the Hilton program in general and my experience when we first got here. I don't know if this is a great story for people that are critical to the Hilton program or people that really like the Hilton program. So I will just start it, and this is how it goes. Obviously, when you fly here and you're flying here with a child, it's a long day, right? So every day I've kind of seen people get here, and you can tell, even the Kiwis, the New Zealanders, they're like 20 hours, 24 hours traveling. So everyone gets here, everyone's tired, everyone looks busted, basically. And you have three lines. You have the general public line. It's 80% of the people here. And what I mean by general public is they're not even Hilton Honors members, let alone status members. So 80% of the people get here, they get in this huge long line that is just general public. In the middle, you have Hilton Honors, and I think that includes the silver and gold status. Maybe I'll go check before I leave. But that line is pretty short. So as long as you sign up for the Hilton Honors, you're already getting a better deal. You're getting a quicker check-in. You're earning points as you stay here. But then you have the Diamond line, and the Diamond, there is no line. Basically, we got here, we walked all the way up to the front, and we were taken care of. Now, here's where we get into this kind of a weird story, and I'll pause for just 1 second to read some of these comments. Okay, I don't want to pause too much because I want to keep your attention. So we get our room. We are offered no upgrades. We take the keys, we head to our room. Now, I did book the lowest standard room available. If you've ever heard of this place, I think there's 3 or 4 different actual towers or properties, and they have different class rooms, basically. So I did book the most economical room possible, kind of, I don't want to say wanting the kind of hoping for that upgrade for a better stay. So this gets kind of funny. We get in there. Now, obviously, this is a long day of traveling, and the door to the room is bent. So you can almost see into the room, and the door's closed, but it's bent so you can see in the room. We open the door, and it's 2 double beds with a parking garage view. And the first thing, my wife has never paid for any of this travel. My wife's never offered to pay for any of this travel. My wife turns around and she says, "We're not staying here. I've got thousands of dollars in my bank account. Go downstairs and get us another room." So I thought it was funny. I also really thought poorly of the property and the Hilton program in general when I walked into this room. Now, it's hard to complain too much because it's what I booked. However, it was really, really bad. It was not a room that I would pay to stay in. And I'm thinking I wouldn't pay anything to stay there. So, continuing on with the story. I go out, at this point, I'm tired, but I don't get angry at people, especially people that are helping me. So I go down there and I asked the lady, I said, "Hey, is there anywhere else we can stay?" I said, that room is really bad. And she kind of looks at me and I'm sure she's used to this. She starts checking the system and what have you. And she said, "What was wrong with it?" I go, "It's just really terrible room." I said, "Can I get any kind of upgrade, or can I just kind of change my reservations?" I was willing to go ahead and pay cash for a different room. I wasn't going to spend 560,000 Hilton honors points for that room. And at first, I kind of thought my wife was overreacting, but she did have a pretty good point. She said, "I'm probably never coming back here to Hawaii. So while I'm here, I want to stay somewhere a lot better than this." So fast forward, I talked to the lady downstairs and she starts clicking the keys. And about 5 minutes later, she goes, "Okay, I have a room on the same tower on the 20th floor." And we go up there, and it's not anything super special, but it is much larger. It's two queen beds, and it does have a partial ocean view. If you guys have seen me post any of the pictures, we can see the ocean and we can see the Diamond Head. So good and bad. Really disappointed when we first got here, but it seemed like Hilton did what they needed to do to make it right. And being the sort of math nerd I am, I quickly went to the website to kind of learn how big of an upgrade was this. So 10 nights we're here. These rooms that we're in now are almost $200 more a night. So while I did have to ask for it, I did have to spend some time getting it. Our diamond status did give us right around a $2,000 upgrade just for having diamond status. So I think it is worth mentioning that status in this case does have its benefits. This place also has 3 or 4 different restaurants and a star. I'm not a fan of Starbucks, but it does have a Starbucks that allows you to use your food and beverage credit. So $36 a day, it's $18 for 2 people. $36 a day for 10 days, we would potentially get $360 with the food beverage credit. Now, that's not exactly $360 because not every day are you going to be able to spend it. You might eat off the resort, or you might eat somewhere else, or you might go to a store and spend cash. So we have had a few days where we were not able to spend that $36, and it is a use it or lose it daily credit. See a couple people in the chat here. So it's like, how many people we have here? See, this is my first time doing this, guys, so I really don't have. I think we have 51 people here, which is a lot more than I planned. That's great. So coming back to Hilton, this was actually going to be the trip that I evaluated my Hilton Aspire and my Hilton Surpass card, whose annual fee comes up next month. So by them giving us that terrible room and them making it right, I kind of got to give the nod to Hilton. I think it's worth it. I think it's a great program. Now, does that mean I'm not going to downgrade my cards to a Hilton Honors card to try to upgrade that in the future? I might still do that, or I might do that with one of the cards. We'll have to see. But I still have over 500,000 Hilton Honors points, so I'm not going to abandon them. And I still think there's a few properties I want to use that for. All right, let me take just a minute. John R says, "Happy wife, happy life." John, it's true. It's if you can make them happy, do it, especially if you've flown them thousands of miles away and you have to be with them for the next 10 days. Mountain Bob says that was a win. I agree, it was a win. I really don't like asking for stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't like staying in terrible rooms either. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle is convinced to get the Aspire card. I think if you want a hotel card, I think that's the best one out there. Amex Boss says they treat Diamond members right. In the end, they did treat us right. I'm not sure if it was just the random person that didn't want to give us an upgrade, or maybe I just didn't look like somebody she wanted to upgrade. But at the end of the day, we are in a very nice room. And like I said, as a numbers guy, I have to admit that I got $2,000 in value in upgrades and I still didn't pay anything for this room. So there is that. Gideon says the room couldn't have been that bad. I did not take a picture of it, and I actually didn't. I didn't even let them stay in it. I told them to leave the room and go out. It was not that bad. But what made it bad was we are in what people call the most beautiful island in the world, and to have a dirty old parking garage and basically no amenities in the room and the beds being too small, it just wasn't a great room. If I was here with the boys, would I care? Probably not. I would probably try to get another room, but if I was wanting to save money, I would stay there. Let me see here. DT says, do you ever consider joining the Marriott family and using the Bonvoy Brilliant? I did have a Bonvoy business card, and I have stayed at Marriott's. And I always say that I think Marriott has the best properties. I think Hyatt has the best status program, and Hilton has the best credit cards. So I think I get more value from the Hilton credit cards and the Hilton program than I would Marriott. And I've always found Marriott, their higher end places, to be really expensive. Looks like Chad and Spencer are in pop-up jail. Good luck, boys. If I could break you out, I would. The Amex boss says to quit before he applies for that Aspire. Listen, that Aspire is, if you travel even once, that Aspire is probably the most valuable card you can have. That's a hot take, but it just is. Let's say I only go on one 10-day vacation a year. Let's use this place as an example. I got a $2,000 upgrade. I got $360 in food and beverage credit. I got $250 with a resort credit. I would have used $250 with some trickeration on the airline to get here, and there's an annual fee of $450, and I would have a free night. So there's no arguing that Hilton Aspire card is big league. Now, whether it gets nerfed, that's a different story. Jarrett Blasky says there's a resort fee or a valet fee. I don't know if there's a resort fee because I paid with points. If you pay with points, there are no resort fees. I want to say it's $50 a day if it's cash. As far as valet, this is a kind of a unique thing about Hawaii. Hawaii is a relationship place. If I would have got the rental car from Hertz and parked it here, I think it was $50 or $75 a day to park it here. Well, my wife got on a Facebook page and found a private rental car company down the street, and she got the rental car for about 25% cheaper than what I would have gotten it with, and they're letting her park it there. So I don't know what the valet is because we haven't parked. We only got a car for 5 days, which is plenty for us because we wanted to spend at least half of this vacation not doing much, sitting at the pool in the ocean. What's up, CJ? We got Daniel McQueen says he has both cards. They've both been good. Ryan Rich, are we getting a premium Wells Fargo travel card this summer? That's a good question because there is so much hate with Wells Fargo, and I know I say it and people don't like it. Your hate is completely misdirected. Every one of the banks you do business with are inherently evil organizations that have been caught doing many, many atrocities. Just Google it. I mean, which was the bank that was caught shipping a tonnage, a huge shipping container ship full of cocaine just recently? I'm not even going to mention them. David Ruiz said he's considered the Bonvoy boundless so he can get the Ritz-Carlton after a year. Absolutely get that. That is a great card. I personally don't have, I don't want that card just because I think I can do better with the Aspire. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan Rich, but will Wells Fargo have a premium travel card? I don't think so. I think they're going to be content with the mid-level, and I also think that they're going to be content with that small annual fee and the mainly cash back kind of suite of cards. And I think they have a couple good ones. Lynn's rideshare hustle wants to know if I think the Aspire card will go up to 650. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it will go up. I would like to see it at 550. I think at 550 it's still really easy to keep. 650, I think it makes sense, but I can also understand people not wanting to pay 650. If they are not sure they're going to be traveling all the time, then I wouldn't hold a $650 travel credit card. Vincent Pascal. Is it worth earning fewer points on your existing American Express cards, like one times on the Platinum, to avoid pop-up jail, especially if you have your eyes on a huge bonus soon? Now, here's my opinion on that some people may not like. Have you heard the expression that if you don't fly enough for status, you don't need status? I think if you don't spend enough on premium American Express cards, you don't need those premium annual Express cards. Talking about the Platinum, if you're not getting 5x from buying flights or buying hotels through the Fine Hotels and Resorts program, I don't think you need the Platinum. If you're not using the Platinum with the American Express offers and you're not putting at least a somewhat substantial amount of spend on there, then I don't know if you need all those American Express cards. And that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people say that's the card that I have, but I won't use. It's a sock drawer card. And I think that's why that pop-up jail has got you guys trapped. El Africano was in pop-up jail as well, but he just got approved for the Hilton Honors business card. A lot of folks are applying for that right now. I think it's a pretty good card. I think the offer right now is unreal. 150,000 points and a free night. That's a no-brainer, man, especially with a business card. Geo Bows here. You made it. Thanks, buddy. Abdallahi says he remembers Chad saying if you don't spend 10,000 bucks on the Platinum, it's not for you. I agree with Chad. If you're not putting $10,000 on that card, maybe you'd be better off with something else. Lynn's rideshare hustle says get the green card. I think the green card right now is a big league card. That's a great sign-up bonus. And I think if you are not spending $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on the Platinum, the green might be for you. MR dropped his Platinum card. Mountain Bob just picked up and finished the sub on the Hilton Biz card. They are selling a ton of those right now. Good for you, Mountain Bob. All right, we have some more questions that David Ruiz likes my tan. Thanks, David. I have been outside most of the time here. And let me see. So now somebody did ask me a very good question, and I want to get to it. John Baker asked me if I were still active duty in the military, would I prefer the Bonvoy Brilliant, the American Express Gold, or a second Platinum, assuming I already had the Charles Schwab Platinum and the Aspire. Here's the deal, John Baker. If I was still active duty, I would be active duty for life. I would be a lifer. I would never get out. Therefore, if I was still active duty, I would get all of them. There's a guy, I think his name's Credit Noble. He has a YouTube channel. I think he's got like 5 or 6 platinum cards, or maybe it's 8 platinum cards. I wasn't paying the annual fees on them. I would get as many as they would give me. CJ's jealous of all these Hilton business card approvals. He actually got denied for the Hilton business card. I think you're in good shape, dude. I think they will overturn that. And if not, it's not the best card out there. Rem GB says he likes the channel. One issue for him is two school-going kids. Okay, he has two kids in school. He's tough. It's tough to go on vacations, and he struggles to use the Marriott certificates. Now, listen, when you get really into the hotel credit cards and you start gaining a lot of free night certificates, I can totally understand how you would have to have a spreadsheet to remember to use them all. Also, with the Marriott free night certificates, they're going to be capped at points. So you may have to look for a 35,000 point property. If I had that problem, I would probably scale back on the hotel cards and just earn the transferable currencies. Dizzy G got approved for the Biz Plat today. Good job, Dizzy G. I may end up picking up another business platinum card. I canceled the last one, but if I can find the known lifetime language, I may pick one up. If you're on Team Hotel Redemption, this is Geo Bao. If you're on Team Hotel Redemption, is the Capital One Venture X worth getting? I think the Capital One Venture X is probably worth getting for most people if you travel. But I will also say that I have it and I rarely use it. I could do without it, honestly. David William, everybody says Hawaii is racist. Have you had to bash any? Oh, racist against us white folks? No. Here's the thing. When it comes to stuff like that, that's I don't want to get too off topic, but when it comes to stuff like that, I don't have any of those issues. I have a lot more issues with people that look like me than that don't look like me. Speaking of, I did just meet Chase Yokoyama here in Waikiki Village, and very cool dude, very awesome to meet him. One of the best things about having this YouTube channel has been meeting the other creators. And the first year and a half I had this channel, I didn't meet anybody. And it seems like in the last 6 months or so, I've met a lot of guys and conversed with a lot of guys, and it's been so much more fun working and talking with other people that do that. Lots of awesome dudes in this game. Yeah, I haven't seen any type of racism here in Hawaii. Some of the Hawaiians are a little bit bitter about being a state in the United States, and that's their business, that's their thing. So I can kind of empathize with how that went down, and they're not shy about explaining it to you how it actually went down. Not my problem. I didn't do it. David Ruiz has 550K certs right now. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I misread that. One of the cards has a sub. Let me see here. Is Chase confirmed for the September Vegas meetup? I believe he has plans to be there. I asked him if he was going, and he said yes, but I do know he is a busy dude. So if something comes up, I can understand why he may not be there, but I do think he is planning on being there right now. Gabriel Enrique Alvarado. Simple question. Explain how we got here. I did explain that. I used American Express Business Gold, and I paid for this flight with MR points, and I was reimbursed. Well, not reimbursed, but I was rebated 25% of those points. So I think that gave me right around 1.33 cents per point for an economy flight. Not great, but you guys know, as we've talked before, the cents per point doesn't make a whole lot. It isn't that big of a deal compared to sunshine and memories with the family. Brian Garcette, Luke, do you ever plan on switching your hotel loyalty program? If so, what would justify that switch? Well, I am a firm believer of going to where you are treated better. So if I feel like I'm not getting treated well enough at Hilton, I'll move. No problem. I have no loyalty to a business. I do have a lot of Hyatt points, and I have a lot of Hyatt stays coming up. So they are basically my second team right now. And I'm also very tempted at that Chase IHG business card offer right now. When I look at IHG's footprint overseas, and like Sledge says, there's 6,000 properties in IHG. I don't stay at IHG's, but I think that's a really good card, and I think it's a really good second or third string hotel program. So yeah, Brian, if I stop getting as much value as I need from Hilton, I'll stop coming here. Uh-oh, Turtle Tray's got some recommendations for the L&L barbecue. Very nice. We will check that out. So yeah, the Chase IHG business card, I may apply for that even though I'm well over 524. See what else we have here. Jay Brown says nicer stays seem to be impossible to grab on points. He's talking about 4 and 5 star hotels with bigger rooms and nicer than just a standard 600 square feet. Even a 300,000 points transferred to a partner seems to get 1 or 2 nights at best. Brian or Jay, I don't think so. I think you can do plenty with hotel points. My favorite example was when me and my family go down to the Conrad in Fort Lauderdale, and I use a free night certificate and 2 nights on points for, I think they're 90,000 points each night. So for 3 nights, I can sometimes stay in a suite bigger than the house I grew up in and with more bathrooms. So I think they're out there. I think you have to spend a lot of time looking for those. And if you're going somewhere for 10 days like this place, you have to settle for the standard room if you're going on points. Or there are people here that save up 1 million Hilton Honors points. It's not really that hard. Keith Schmidt asked if I'm doing the Las Vegas status match merry-go-round during the meetup. I'm not. I won't get a Wyndham card. I do have, we'll see. I may try to see if I can get some MGM status with my Hyatt status or something like that. I'm not going to be there long. I'm only going to be there a couple nights, and I have some old Navy buddies that are there, so I'm probably going to be really busy. That may be like a really quick trip for me. E-Dog says he ended up taking my advice from my last Q&A. He upgraded his gold to the platinum for 100,000 MR points offer. Good job, E-Dog. Can't wait for the card to come so he can get all those bennies. An artist, this is a good question. This is what an artist, I've never been to Hawaii, and it's not in his top 10. Does he have it wrong? Everyone seems to love it. His list is more like Italy, China, Vietnam, Yellowstone, New York City. No hate on Hawaii, just doesn't get it. An artist, I will tell you right now, I was in the same boat. Hawaii is not in my top 10, but a lot of people do fall in love with this place, and it's one of those magical places. So when I came here, I wanted to keep my mind open for that. Now, what do I think after I've been here a week, 8 days? I didn't fall in love with it. It is a very special place. If you woke up in Hawaii one day, you would know you're in Hawaii. Am I coming back? I don't know. If I do come back, I think I would do some island hopping or something a little different, but I'm still on the fence. I'm still trying to absorb this and digest this. It is a great place, but we'll see. I can't answer for you. Everyone's different. I have been to a couple places where I really fell in love and felt like they were home. So far, this is not one of them. Chad says hotel Wi-Fi is not your friend. Does that mean I'm lagging or otherwise not broadcasting very well? Geo Bao says, do you think 8 days was too long? We're here for 10, and the way I travel, it's probably a little bit too long. I think how I could have broken this up a little better would be to go to LA and maybe go to Disneyland, come over here for 6 days, and then go back to LA because I do like Los Angeles. But MR says, I seem like a city guy over an island guy. I don't know. I'm pretty versatile. I don't live in a city now. I do work in a city, but I like the islands. I do really like the Caribbean, and I like South Florida. Uh, Chambe, Mr. Luke, I want to say thank you for your videos. Any recommendations on a first airline credit card? Well, if you guys watch the channel, you may know that I don't really like airline credit cards. If you fly a specific airline often, it will probably be a good idea to get their card if it offers a free check bag, if you can save money that way. Sorry. I don't check a lot of bags, and it seems like when I do, it's free. Obviously, we check bags coming here, but when we go to South Florida or we go somewhere fairly close, we're just taking carry-ons. PG said that's how he split it up. Fly for Boston, stayed 3 nights in LA, 7 nights in Maui. That sounds like a bit better. I like Southern California, so I think that would be cool. I also think it would be really cool to fly first class to Hawaii on Hawaiian Airlines, just to get the vibe, get the kind of magic going a little early. I think that would be fun. See here. Chad says Vegas is going to be epic. Vegas is going to be super fun. Vegas is always fun, but it's going to be even more fun with a bunch of like-minded people kind of hanging out, talking shop, and maybe having a few beers and all that good stuff. I'm trying to go back to the beginning of this. I kind of missed a lot of stuff. Spencer want to know how Hawaii. Hawaii is really fun. It's kind of one of those things like we mentioned before. If it's not on your bucket list, you still kind of have to come here. If you're old enough to remember the Brady Bunch, even the Bradys came here. But it does seem like it is one of those places that may be a bit oversaturated. Now, I'm definitely not one of those people that says, I want to live like a local. I don't want to be a tourist, because you are a tourist. And no matter what you do, if you don't live there, you're still a tourist. I prefer full service hotels as opposed to, Airbnbs and cockroaches and all that good stuff. But I think with Hawaii, I think you have to come here at some point. I think it'll be really great to do a honeymoon here. And as far as my total experience here, I've only been to Oahu. I've only been to one island. A lot of people like Kauai and Maui and all that. I think every island kind of has its own personality. So I can't really give you too much advice. I think it's just fine. It is so far away, it makes it prohibitive for some people. Um, but if you are a veteran or if you're a sailor in particular, you kind of have to go to Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is it's a very, very sacred, even an emotional place for a lot of people. Going there was it's so many different things. And if you're not familiar with what happened here, read a book or watch a documentary. But the other cool thing about Pearl Harbor is you can actually go on board the USS Missouri, where the Japanese surrendered. The Japanese actually surrendered on board this ship, and that is really, really cool. Took my wife and son on board that ship, and you can go all over in it. The craziest thing is it smelled just like the ship I was on. It was put together very similar to the ship I was on, because the Missouri was around during World War II, but it was also retrofitted in the 90s. So it's been around a long time. Very cool place. Brian Garcett wants to know if I've considered flying JSX Airlines. I've never heard of it. I don't think we have that where I live. Keith says he always needs a vacation after he visits Vegas. I can understand. John R. is a Missouri boy, so he knows about the Mighty Mo. What a very, very cool ship. I was a kid when they actually took the Iowa and the Missouri out of mothball and retrofitted them and got them ready for the Gulf War. Really cool stuff. All right, guys. If you have any questions for me, now's a good time to ask them. I think I've covered most of the ones that were actually in the community post. And I think I might have missed some of these because they kind of went through kind of quick. Stan, the man, the credit frog, is here working on my vacation. Well, here's the deal. We went to the North Shore a couple days ago, and my wife wanted to go back. Take it off. My wife wanted to take the boy back because we kind of missed a couple things, and it was more than just a day trip. So they decided to go without me and left me to relax here and do some of this stuff here. So I'm not complaining. I think it's nice to get one day kind of by yourself. And if it was up to me, I would probably work a couple days on my vacation because let's face it, is there a cooler place to work than a resort with a beach and six pools and all that good stuff? It's not really that difficult to get a work day in. Brian Garcett is a native Floridian. He knows I like South Florida, but I need to check out the West Coast sometime. You sound like my wife. My wife wants to go to the Gulf Coast. The reason why I don't go to the Gulf Coast is this. Everybody in the Midwest and everybody in Ohio goes to Destin and Panama City Beach, Florida. That's kind of why I like Southern Florida. I like the whole Latin music, the Cuban sandwiches, the cigars, that kind of Latin vibe down in Miami is fun for me. And when I don't want to party, then I just go a little further north to Fort Lauderdale, where it's a little quieter, a little older. Clausel Ray wants to know my take on the city premiere. Mr. Ray, I think it's a big time card, and I don't think it gets enough credit. And I think it's because a lot of the same things are repeated over and over on the internet. I think City as a program is underrated. City has a trifecta that would earn you a substantial amount of transferable points for $95 a year. I know people have even recently done videos on City cards and City trifectas, but the City Premier, the custom cash, and the double cash, you can do some really great traveling on that $95 trifecta. And I think City's transfer partners are severely underrated as well. They have Turkish, they have, I think they have Choice Hotels, and people laugh when I say this, but Choice Hotels transfer at one thank you point to two choice points. And I know most of us aren't staying in Choice Hotels, but if you went to Scandinavia, to, I'm sorry, to Denmark or Sweden or Norway, the Choice Hotel program over there is very strong, and they offer breakfast and sometimes even dinner, and they're in really sought after locations. So I think I think the City cards are sleeper cards. I think they're really good, and I think the Premier, in particular, is really good. Look at the times three categories on that card. You really can't go wrong with that card at all. For $95, the big knock obviously is, well, they don't have travel protections. Well, go make some money. Go collect some points and some miles. That way, if something bad happens, you can just pivot and redirect and go finish your flight and then worry about the travel protections later. Keith Schmidt, he says, I said I prefer transferable points miles. Are there ever too many points in one ecosystem? And I look to diversify into another ecosystem. Yes and no. Well, no and yes. First off, I've never had too many transferable points in one ecosystem. But do I want to have them in other ones? Yes, I do want to have a significant amount of chase points if I want to be a Hyatt customer. And I also have Capital One miles because I want to have access to Turkish, I think. Usually each one of these ecosystems will have one or two partners that I really want. And City, I would love to get part of. City has turned me down for the Premier, I think, 2 or 3 times. So I actually thought about applying for that on this live event, but I'm going to wait a little bit. But if I could get the City Premier, then I would have all 4 major points and miles currencies. And I think diversification is great. Um, but if I had to pick, I'm still going with American Express MR points. David Ruiz wants to know how long my October Euro trip is. Super fast. I want to say it's 4 nights, and that's how I do my stuff. I do it super quick. I'm meeting my old sailor buddy in Prague. We're gonna hit it super hard for 4 days straight, and then we're leaving. No breaks, no kind of sleeping in, no nothing. So that's kind of how we do that, and that's fun for me. David says he could do Europe longer than Hawaii. A lot of people do those super long European vacations, and that's awesome, but not for me. I would much rather spend the extra points and miles to fly business, sleep over there, sleep back, spend 4 days of straight exploring, I guess. Keith wants to know if I would take a trip to Cuba. Yeah, I would go to Cuba. There's not very many places I don't want to go. There's a few places I won't go right now. I won't go to Russia right now. I don't know if I would get too close to Russia right now, and that's just because I don't want I don't want to be around any I don't want that to have no potential international incidents. No thanks. I guess I'm not quite American fighting man age anymore, so I probably wouldn't be targeted by some type of spy or some kind of Russian operative, but I still don't want to go anywhere near Russia. But just about anywhere else in Europe, I'll go. I'd definitely go to Cuba for sure. Chad's heard about choice hotels in Europe. They do have. I looked at a few for a Scandinavia trip, and I think that is a really good way to go. I'm not saying they have the greatest program or even a good program, but that choice credit card from Wells Fargo is pretty top. It's a really good card. Chris says he's getting his friends into the travel card game, and they're all under 524. Should he just refer them all to Sapphire Preferred? Yeah, I think the Sapphire Preferred, and then along with just the Chase trifecta to begin with, I think is a great overall way to begin their journey. And I don't think you need to put a whole bunch of thought in that. If they can get approved for Chase cards, and they have decent credit scores and all that good stuff, that's a great starting point. Lynn's rideshare is transferring MR points over to Hilton a good idea if there's a 30% promo. Now, so many people will say that's not a good idea. I disagree. I think if you look at certain redemptions, and I will try to figure out what this particular redemption I'm getting right now, but I think I posted it somewhere. I think it was over a cent per point. So I think if you're talking about transferring MR points that you can earn really fast and get a 30% bonus, I think it could make sense. Would I do it often and all the time? No, I don't think so. But I think if I wanted, let's say I wanted to come to Hawaii, I needed 560,000 Hilton honors points. Would I transfer 100,000 MR points to help plus that up? Yes. At 30% bonus, I would for sure. What's the 30% bonus going to be? 2.8. So every MR point to 2.8, Hilton honors point. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, David Ruiz has a good point. The Nordic Choice Program is now or going to be very soon called Strawberry. It's You're still going to be able to use your Chase points, but just note that there will be a name change. Mr. Ray wants to know if the Barclays cards are hard to get. Do they run a 524 like Chase? From what I understand, Barclays works on a 624 system. Are they hard to get? They're difficult to work with. Me personally, I'm not applying for any Barclays cards. Uh-oh. turtle, Charlie. Oh boy. Oh wow. Hey, let me call you back, Charlie. I'm actually live on YouTube right now. All right. So they are swimming with turtles right now, Stan. And I think I lost my train of thought, which that boy does that to me. Um, oh, Barclays. Yeah, I've had a couple of Barclays cards. I don't like working with them. I don't like messing with them. I don't like applying with them. So, me personally, I wouldn't recommend them unless it's something you really want. PG wants to know if I have any plans to visit Alila Ventura Big Sur. You know, I keep hearing that over and over again. I'm not even sure where it is. So, do I plan to visit it? No. It's a Hyatt, right? I'm guessing it's a Hyatt. My personal experience with Hyatt is, for me, I think they hold the most value in economical stays. The Hyatt places and the Hyatt houses that have the breakfast buffet, I think that's what I'll be using Hyatt points for. I don't see too many uh, like the Ventura Big Sur. I don't see a lot of those plans in my future. I'm not even sure what my little boy would do there. Zach wants to know 3 bucket list destinations. That is a good one. Let me see. Okay, so one with the family. Let's do that Hyatt in the Bahamas. It's got some kind of water park and crazy beaches. I don't know what it's called, but if some of you guys that are Hyatt people will understand what I'm saying. Hyatt has a really nice Bahamas property. So that's my bucket list with the family. With just me, let's do Budapest, Hungary. Yeah, Budapest, Hungary. For no reason. I just want to go there. Me and my wife, let's do Scotland. Let's go visit those castles and try to understand those Scottish people. That's my top 3. That's my 3 bucket list places. Turtle Trade just came back from Buenos Aires. Awesome, man. They have a really advantageous exchange rate. Daniel Turner is currently debating Aeroplan versus the Bonvoy Boundless. That's a really. I think they're both great cards. I don't normally recommend airline cards for anyone that doesn't really exclusively fly Aeroplan. Now I know Aeroplan's a little bit different because they have great partners, and if you're racking up those Aeroplan miles, you can pretty much fly anywhere. So I Bonvoy Marriott is hard for me to recommend because the properties are expensive and the points are not all that valuable. Just my opinion. Brian Garcett says, if every issuer had a once in a lifetime rule, what 3-card setup would be my permanent setup? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one, man. I think I would if I could only have I guess I can only have 3 cards. I'm probably going to do the platinum card, the gold card, and the Venture X. Sorry, Chase, you're out of it. Yeah, says Stan says son he got to swim with turtles. Good for him. I'm sure I'll hear all about it for the next 2 days, which, I guess I'm lucky I have a wife that can go go the extra mile and get him those experiences over here. Good people. Jesus, sorry, I'm sure you pronounce that Jesus. He's wondering, can someone put a lower yearly income on a card application to see if it helps with approval? That's a great question, Jesus. I don't know. Try it. Let us know. Oh, very chinny says his would be Switzerland, Singapore, and the Maldives. What's up, JP Buffett? Switzerland is definitely on my redemptions bucket list. They have a redemption from Chicago to Zurich on Swiss Air using Avianca Life miles, 62,000 Avianca Life miles each way. I definitely want to take my little boy to Switzerland and I don't know why. Just to maybe get him a chocolate bar, and maybe I'll buy a watch. Arnaud wants to know what hotel I'm in. I am in the Hilton Waikiki Village Beach Resort. And guys, I think I'm going to give this about 3 more minutes. I don't want to take a bunch of people's time, and I don't want to go on and on about things that nobody cares about. So if you have any questions, let me know now. And if not, I will thank every single one of you. I appreciate every single one of you that have tuned in today. And if you like the live stuff, it's something I've planned on doing a little more. So if you like it, leave me a like and let me know, and maybe I'll set something up on a regular basis once we get back home and we get everything squared away. One thing I do plan on doing with the channel is I plan on redoing the background in my little boy says studio with air quotes. So when I get home, I plan on actually doing some dressing up of the studio. So maybe that's a little more aesthetically pleasing for you guys. So if you like the live stuff, let me know. Matthew, he's debating his next card. American Express Blue Cash Preferred, Chase Freedom Flex, the Saver, Venture, or Green Card. Matthew, those are all over the place. And I think every single one of them are really, really good cards. I have a soft spot for the American Express Blue Cash Preferred if you're someone that doesn't spend $10,000 or $15,000 a year at the grocery store. I think it's an awesome card. I may even get it again one day. So I really do like the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. I like the Saver as well. Going to be honest, the Venture X is going down on my list right now. I think it's great. It just doesn't really have a spot for me. MR says he thanks me. He loves how the channel is blowing up in the last year. He loves the live stuff. We have not blown up. We have steadily grown, which in my opinion is much more valuable. It has been a very slow and steady growth, and I think we have an awesome community here. A lot of good dudes, a lot of comments, a lot of help going on here. Thank you, Jesus. I will enjoy the last couple of days here. Thank you, Vincent. David Williams says he's glad my trip turned out good. PG, thanks for stopping by. Matthew likes the Saver Uber One 10 times. That's a big benefit. Okay, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys coming by, spending an hour with me. I am going to enjoy the rest of this afternoon because I'm 6 hours different from Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going out in the sunshine, and I'm going to go out in the pool like an old man, hopefully not a creepy old man, and be ready for some new content when I get home. And if you stayed all the way to the end, thank you, and we'll see you later.